Hey folks, this is probably the most important video that I have ever made, and I would really ask you to watch through to the end, because if you are in any illusion that we are not in a fascist totalitarian state, then I am going to prove it to you beyond any shadow of a doubt today, because we're at Cressbrook Dale. And we're going to have a look at what has been done here. Now, John and I came out here last night by torchlight. I had to go to Wales on Thursday, and I didn't get back till late yesterday afternoon. So we came here by torchlight last night and saw the absolute devastation that had been carried out on this land. And I actually received a call from Ed at Derbyshire Times asking for a comment. So that was the first I heard of it, and they had already written an article and published it before they had spoken to me. So just to give you an idea of this is the churning of the track. This is the opening to the entrance track. So whatever has come down here, this is serious heavy machinery. Come on. That has absolutely churned this track up. Now, this has all been done without the consent or knowledge of the landowners. I am one of a multitude of co-owners of this land, and every communication that I have personally received, I have returned to Peak Park with a covering letter to tell them it is incorrectly addressed, that I am not the owner of this land, that I am one of a multitude of owners of this land, that I do not consent to the proposed actions, that their offer to contract is declined. And I have been absolutely emphatic and meticulous about writing to all concerned. And I've also written to the Chief Executive of Peak Park National Authority to state that I personally hold him personally responsible for any damage, destruction which occurs to the property which I co-own. Now, just to give you an idea of some of the devastation, and I don't quite know where this came, but this has been ripped off. This branch has clearly been ripped off a tree, because whatever came through here was clearly a tall vehicle, and some of these branches are quite low hanging. So they've literally, and these are all protected trees. I mean, the Peak Park made a big fuss about issuing a protection orders over all the trees, which basically means they can't be touched by anyone, and yet their thugs have been down here. Okay, so this is all the way along this track. You can see the depth of this churning of whatever vehicle came up here. This is a seriously huge lorry, and it was quite interesting last night when John and I came down here. The noise of the birds in the forest was deafening. It was like almost like a chorus of outrage. Here we go. Completely churned up. And we did actually do some filming, but obviously it didn't come out, so that's why we decided to come back today by daylight, so we could get a video record of the absolute devastation which has occurred here. So they have bolt cutted the chain. That's why we pretty much are sure this is Peak Park, because if this was just some random personal thief, they wouldn't have secured the site afterwards. And this area here, so this was an area which I did a comparative video last week on Wednesday when I was here, when I discovered that the teepee had been stolen, and this area was pretty much being grown through. By the spring it would have been completely covered with grass, and it would have been invisible. But what has happened here is they have absolutely churned this site to mud, and it's not even carefully done. I mean, this is just absolute devastation, and the intention is obviously that they do not want us to access this land. They do not want us to be able to drive on this land or to park on this land. And obviously, as landowners, we have the lawful right to access our land for its maintenance. And they have made sure here that they have left this in an absolute state where it's very, very difficult, unless we had a fleet of 4x4 vehicles, to access this land. And if anyone who was who's been used to this land will know that the limestone gravel was only a tiny area, but what they have actually done, they have taken this churning of our land all the way back. They've destroyed all of the natural growth which was behind here. And so the extent of this goes way beyond anything that we had put in. It's absolutely shocking. I mean, if anyone who knows Cressbrook Dale, who comes and sees what the Peak Park has done here, they would be absolutely shocked. This has been done by people who have no regard for this land. There is no love of Cressbrook Dale or love of the Peak Park. This is absolute ecological devastation and vandalism, way beyond anything that we may have done at this land. These are the actions of thugs. Yeah, I'm absolutely in shock at what has happened here. And as I understand it from Ed, I haven't seen this, but Ed, the reporter from the Derbyshire Times, said apparently that there was a statement from SaveCressbrookDale campaign to say that they were pleased about what had happened. Well, I'm sorry, but anyone who gives a damn about this land, anyone who loves Cressbrook Dale, would surely, anyone who truly loves this land and cares about this land like we do, surely must be in an absolute state of shock to come and see this. So if you are anyone who is close by, if you love this land, if you walk this land, and you are as outraged as we are, then please, I ask you to write in the strongest terms possible letters of complaint, both to Phil Mulligan, the Chief Executive, and also to the Chairman of the Peak Park Authority. I use authority in inverted commas because I certainly have never consented to their authority. But I think the Chairman's name is Patrick Murphy. And then, of course, to Michael Gove, who is the Minister for Levelling Up Housing and Communities, to complain in the strongest possible terms, because this is nothing to do with ecology or protecting the environment or saving Cressbrook Dale. This is all about power, authority and control, and us exerting control. So we've already done a police report regarding the theft of the TP, and we will now be putting in another police complaint. And I have actually printed out the police oath here. Now, I just want to be really clear at this point that these people are public servants. They are servants of the people, and the police, all of these authorities, government, they are elected by the people, they are paid for by the people, and they are here to serve the people. And so this is the police oath. I do solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm that I will well and truly service the Queen or King not the government, the Queen or the King, who is there to protect the people, in the office of constable with fairness, integrity, diligence and impartiality, upholding fundamental human rights and according equal respect to all people, and that I will, to the best of my power, cause the peace to be kept and preserved and prevent all offences against people and property, and that while I continue to hold the said office, I will, to the best of my skill and knowledge, discharge all the duties thereof faithfully according to law. So, of course, human rights, common law rights, human rights, they cannot be removed by any government. No government has the power to legislate to remove the rights of the people, and in particular the rights of the people and their property. And our rights, our common law rights as owners of this land, have been absolutely and utterly violated by this authority. And this is not ending here. I mean, if anyone thinks that this is the end of the matter, think again, because I, for one, will not rest until Phil Mulligan's head is on a platter. To be quite honest, he is in dereliction of his duty. He needs to resign. Patrick Murphy needs to resign. Joanna Bunting, who is the senior lawyer of the Peak Park, who sent me the letter, who I replied to, and I pointed out and I asked her, please would you provide me evidence that all of the landowners and every person with an interest in this property has been notified, and that evidence has not been forthcoming. That due process has not been followed, even under Caesar's laws. Due process has not been followed. This is utterly, it's not just unlawful under the most fundamental basic issues of human rights and common law. So it's not only unlawful, what they have done here is utterly illegal under their system. John, I don't know if you want to be on the camera. Do you want to make a comment?
You make it. You speak for me, Rachel. You're speaking for me.
I mean, what's your feeling on what's happened? I won't put him on because he's ticked the box for no publicity, John, which is why you haven't seen any photos of him lately.
I feel the same as you, Rachel. I really do.
Were you notified? You are a co-owner, and you're my fellow trustee. Did you receive any notification from Peak Park about this?
No, I didn't. I didn't receive any notification at all.
Yeah, so right there you have it. This is my fellow trustee and a fellow co-owner. He has received no notification from Peak Park about this matter. And that means that what they have done here, even under their Caesar's laws, is illegal. And this is going to be escalated now. I am not going to rest. I personally will not rest until justice has been brought over this matter, because it is absolutely outrageous. And if you are local to this, please do come and see for yourself, because I don't even know if I've captured on camera very adequately the horror. I mean, maybe it's because I'm here in person and I can feel the energy of this land. I've spent a lot of time on this land since we first walked it in early 2022. So 2 years I built a relationship with this land. So to see this destruction and devastation and desecration of what is sacred shamanic land is utterly heartbreaking. I don't know what I can add, but please, if you are local, and if you can come here and see for yourself, please add your voice to our voices, to complain in the strongest possible terms. I mean, I already did a video, open letter to Michael Gove, and I received a whole lot of comments and emails in support of that. There's a lot of people who are very angry at Peak Park and the tyranny. This is absolute fascist, totalitarian tyranny. There's nothing here about respect for Peak Park or wanting to save Cressbrook Dale. This is purely about fascist power and control. And Patrick Murphy was in the Derbyshire Times saying they wanted more funding to be able to do more stuff like this. They don't give a shit about Peak Park. They don't give a shit about the environment or the ecology or the land. It's all about totalitarian, fascist power and control. And until I draw my last breath on this planet, I will do everything within my power to see those responsible for this, behind this, removed from office. This is an absolute outrage what's happened here. And those people who are allegedly about saving Cressbrook Dale, if they are not outraged at what Peak Park has done, and they are not in absolute shame about the part that they have played in this desecration and destruction of our land and devastation of this land, I mean, I'm in absolute shock. I'm in absolute shock. So all of those of you who are behind the Save Cressbrook Dale campaign, John Butler, Chris Gilbert, Sophie, I forget your second name, I forget the names of all of those involved, you need to come here and hang your heads in shame. Shame on you. Shame on you.